Race 2 of the Hungaro-Ring. Red lights are on. And away we go on the right-hand side. Jean-Carl Vernet. Good start from Daniel Hegloff as well. Let's see further down. Everybody gets off the grid neatly. We'll wait to see whether Montero, Christophersen or Chacon can make ground, but Hegloff with a flying start. Down the inside comes Ted Bjerg, looking for second ahead of the poleman, Jean-Carl Vernet. Vernet's on the outside, Bjerg will squeeze through. No way through for Vernet. Who's that behind? Is that Girolami or Ascona who goes through? It is Daniel Hegloff who leads. Ted Bjerg on the inside line, 4 wide down into turn 2. Guerrieri, Huff, Prio, we're with Muller, trying to get himself insinuated into there. Huff gets shunted out wide, and that is Erlacher who made a good start, getting pushed off a little wide. Cars out very wide indeed, and coming back in, that's Guerrieri a long way down. And a challenge for the lead from Nestor Girolami, and Daniel Hegloff is off, and Vernet is off. Right now, they're just going to have to get on with this. The track is very slippery, Richard. This is carnage. Look at Ascona going the long way around the outside, gets turned around, gets back on the grass is Bjerg. Whoa, Ascona sideways into the chicane. Farfus jumps it. Half the field will jump the chicane. This is a lot more slippery than they anticipated, I think. And a huge puncture for Mehdi Bennani. Broken right rear corner. Don't know who else has got damage as a result of that. That Bennani is out. There's Augusto Farfus. He too makes contact with Ascona. Hegloff leads still from, which is that Girolami in second. I'm struggling to keep up with this. Vernet in third at the moment. Everybody else in fourth. Looks as though Farfus has got his nose in front, and Hegloff still trying to defend. Girolami wants a second win out of this. Hegloff goes off wide. Can Girolami hang on to it? Oh, wow.
Big moment of opposite lock going into the penultimate corner there. There's about 6 or 7 different subplots going on at that time.
6 or 7, 16 or 17 yellow flags are out, and that's probably for the damaged car that we saw from Mehdi Bennani. Hegloff in second? No, Girolami across the lead. Yeah, Hegloff and Vernet. Then Ascona in fourth. The second PWR car leads the next group. He's got Farfus behind, Erlacher in sixth, Tarquini up to seventh, Katzberg up to eighth, Muller ninth, Frederick Vervisch in 10th.
And so far at this stage of the race, those cars that are trying different axle sets, who's that?
Muller. Sideways, I don't know which of the 2 Audis was off there, I'm not sure. Vervisch, I think, he was behind Muller across the line. Oh my goodness, this is absolute carnage.
Slick's definitely the choice. Montero and Christophersen wallowing around in last at the moment.
Yeah. And they're both in the pits. Bennani's in the pits, Christophersen's in the pits. Actually, Montero, not sure if he's made it across the line or not yet. Ascona in fourth place, fastest first sector of this lap. We're on board with Ivan Muller. That is Vervisch, so that was the Audi that we saw making contact with him. This is the battle now for 9th place.
He's made 10 spots on that.
Guerrieri is down to 10th, Huff's up to 12th. Bjerg is down to 14th. He really got shunted out wide. So Ted Bjerg, the big loser, came in second in the points, didn't he, after yesterday's race? And what about Norby? Where's Mikulits? He's down in 13th, on board with Ted. Boof! That was Norby. So, is there going to be damaged steering on Norby's car? There is on Ted's, that's for sure. Maybe that was just on the grass.
Ascona was like a pinball throughout the entire opening lap, just getting knocked around the whole time.
He was the cue ball, wasn't he? Everybody was having a go. And I don't know where the contact came, but Bennani's car broken. He has made it back to the pits. He's out of the race. I think Christophersen will probably rejoin.
Some fabulous pack racing all the way through the field.
Amazing stuff. And Nestor Girolami has made the break. He's 1.5 seconds clear of Jean-Carl Vernet. There's Bennani's car, right rear damage. They're checking everything else in sight. Hegloff third, Ascona fourth. Then Farfus, Erlacher, you saw Guerrieri, 6th position, 7th position for the Argentine. And actually the good news for Guerrieri is that he's ahead of this monster bunch, which means he will hopefully keep his car in one piece.
Definitely.
Down the hill, is that Hyundai on Hyundai? Yes, it was. That was Katzberg and Tarquini.
Björk in the pits, obviously damage from that opening lap. I imagine probably bent for steering.
Yeah, from the onboard, his hands were all over the place, weren't they? I wasn't sure whether that was just catching it on the grass or whether it was bent steering. I think it's bent steering.
Bent right rear.
Oh, right, okay. So, Björk is in the garage. And everybody here, this is a monster queue for 8th. Gabriele Tarquini is 8th. Everybody else is 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th place in that queue.
Norbert Nikolitz, our pole sitter for race 3, just taking it easy, it seems, down in 16th place, clearly trying not to take too many risks.
Well, he had that big contact with Ted Björk. That knocked him out wide. He will be one of the number of cars that flew off the circuit at a couple of places. Thiago Monteiro in the pits, like Kristoffersson, he'll be going for a rear tyre change. Andy Priaulx in the pits. We saw him getting contact as well on the opening lap. Oh, and more cars flying off. That's Vervish again, and who was behind him? Was that Huff in the Golf? Flying back on in the middle of the pack. Drive-through penalty for a jump start because it's not exciting enough, and that's for Fredrik Vervish. It's his second jump start this year. It's only race 4.
I wondered how he managed to go from about 20th to 10th, but
did he just
got a bit of a helping hand.
Select top gear when the lights went on and off he went? Well, there is Norbert Mikelic, and alongside him is the yellow car of Aurelian Panis. Norby only just in the points. Augusto Farfus only just in the realms of control. We're right behind with Esteban Guerrieri. That's Air Lachey in 6th.
Big stoved inside on Air Lachey's car as well.
Yeah. Well, you need to go back through all the opening lap Farrago to find out who hit whom and when, and that's not our job. Luckily, we have stewards for that. That may well still be being unfurled as we head to the airport at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, to be honest. There was so much going on the opening couple of laps. I think anybody in their right mind isn't going to be bothering at all about who was within track limits, because there was so much going on a wet track. Nesta Girolami still the race leader. This is the long queue for 7th place. How close are they to the back of Esteban Guerrieri? Right behind him still. This is Ivan Muller. Muller's in 10th. Tarquini just in front of us, the reigning champion in 9th. Ahead of him, his teammate Nicky Katzberg. So Katzberg got ahead of Tarquini last lap. Guerrieri in 7th. Johan Kristoffersson back out shortly to try and shake down his car for the final race. He was only Volkswagen driver in the top 10 yesterday in the dry, and you'd think as a rallycross champion this would play to his skill set quite neatly, wouldn't you?
You certainly would, but the problem is if you don't have any water to cool the rear tyres, they just start sliding everywhere because they overheat. As we watch one of the Golfs just get into the back of, I think it was that Muller?
That was Huff and Muller. So, again, 5 World Touring Car Championships in that battle. Ivan Muller hangs on to 10th ahead of Rob Huff. And Huff coming up from, where was he? He was on the same row as Andy Priaulx, so he was 13th, wasn't he? Augusto Farfus, another big lockup down the inside.
Farfus fast becoming the cork in the bottle here.
Yeah.
You're seeing him defensive more and more often. And that's sort of bunching up this entire pack, really.
And he's having the same problem that Priaulx's happening, is they're used to rear-wheel drive cars and feeling where the nose is. Feeling where the nose is under braking is the biggest problem they've got right now. And you can clearly see him, he's offline, he's on the damper part of the track, he's trail braking into the corner, smoking the wheels, and he is definitely holding everybody up. But for us, that gives us fantastic pack racing behind.
Tarquini's starting to get impatient behind his teammate Katzberg. You see him starting to get him lined up for a bit of a move, knows that he's got to make a bit of progress.
Well, he has to, because otherwise...
Ivan Muller behind him.
Exactly right. When you've got Ivan behind you, you always have to get on with it, because he always does.
Tashi going straight over at the chicane there.
Yeah, he's gonna...
Careful not to have gained a position.
He'll have to try and drop in between Coronel and Panis, which he does. That's where he was. So he doesn't gain any advantage out of that one. And Augusto Farfus ahead of Jan Lachey. That is 5th on down. Nesta Girolami still the race leader by 9 tenths now over the fastest man on track, Jean-Carl Vernet. Daniel Hegloff in 3rd. Gabriele Tarquini in 9th and right in the thick of the action.
Keep calm, Gabriel, keep calm. He's trying to overtake him.
Keep calm, okay, fair enough. Keep calm and pass your teammate. Here's Nestor Girolami, the race leader. Nicky Katzberg comes alongside. He gets a good run on Esteban Guerrieri. And, whoa! Katzberg has a big weave after a little bit of a rub. Tarquini tries to insert himself down the inside. If he brakes too late, he'll just cannon into the back of his teammate. The Honda drifts out too wide. Comes back in front of Tarquini, just Guerrieri. Guerrieri, like Mikelish, who's now down in 15th, has got to keep the car in one piece. He wants to win race 3.
So easy just to get a bit of a poor exit, and then you're in real trouble with whatever car is behind you. It's all about not making errors at this stage of the race. Guerrieri maybe being a bit ginger as well, trying to look after his car for race 3.
Yeah. Got to think, definitely, the only way to keep your car in one piece, though, is to drive like your life depended on it and try and make sure, keep that car moving forward. It's like when you're a motorcyclist, the safest place to be in traffic is past it all and not around other traffic. Guerrieri needs to do the same. Tarquini right behind him still. And the problem for Esteban is that Gabriele is in a position to score highly in this race and wants to do so. Nerves the back of the Honda, nudges him again. Gabriele using all the touring car now. Alongside him, though, comes Ivan Muller, and Ivan goes through as well past Guerrieri. So Guerrieri now down to 10th place. The graphic already 1 spot out of date. Farfus still holding on from the yellow stripe up the nose of Yann Erlaché. Girolami leads by 7/10 over Vernet. The gaps come down. Hagloff is 1.1 behind them, but 2.1 behind teammate Ascona. Hang on a minute. Ascona in 4th, Hagloff in 3rd. PWR new to the championship. Fantastic stuff from them.
Katzberg on the inside of Erlaché then, just trying to get a run on him.
Yeah.
Could win that in a drag race every day of the week.
Good effort. Katzberg piling on the pressure, and alongside...
Katzberg looks like he's cramping slightly.
Yeah,
Sorry, Farfus.
He does a bit, and I wonder whether he's had damage on that right rear, which is the one that keeps locking up. No wonder he's a little slower. Whoa!
Yeah, will explain his pace. Oof.
Well, Gabriele taking no prisoners, but through goes Ivan. There's never a wind that doesn't blow Ivan Muller a bit of good, is there? Tarquini gets onto the inside. Tashi and Huff get together. Tarquini on the inside of Erlaché, they both drift out wide. Muller goes through, picks up 2 places. Well, Tarquini was at the apex, and both of them lose out to Ivan. So Ivan Muller has gone from 9th to 7th in that one. And here's Tom Coronel inside Attila Tashi for 12th, possibly. Fantastic action, 7 laps in, showing no sign of settling down because everybody is trying to make up ground.
It's going to be mechanics with a lot of work to do in repair time today between races. Imagine a lot of these cars have got knocks to wheels and bodywork and all kinds of different things.
Well, Björk heading back out to the pits to check his car. Andy Prios is still being fixed. There's Aurelian Panis right in front of us as we ride with Norbert Mikelish. So Gordon Shedden has got by Mikelish and Panis and is now up to 14th. So Flash is starting to make some progress. And drifting out wide, that's 88 Katzberg. Off wide as well is Panis. So Katzberg comes back on in front of Guerrieri, but he has dropped down out of 6th position. So 6th now is Erlaché. No, it's not. It's Muller, isn't it? He was 9th at the beginning of the lap.
Guerrieri at the inside of Katzberg.
Yeah, Katzberg in trouble. Guerrieri goes through, and he's going to win this drag race as well. Katzberg spins the wheels up on the wet. Tarquini behind. Katzberg's coming back at Guerrieri. Farfus is in 5th. Muller in 6th. Tarquini down the inside, looking back from Esteban. Gabriele inside his own teammate. Katzberg has to give him room, can't hold the line, but comes back on. Katzberg with the red nose at the top of the hill. Down the inside of Tarquini, he's already passed him once there. On board with Tarquini, look in the mirrors. Where's Nicky? There he is, there he is. He's still behind. Tarquini's looking in the mirrors as well. And then there's
inside
Huff.
of him.
That can only be Huff. He edges Katzberg off. Further back, Mikulic goes off as well. And Mikulic in trouble from Benny Leutner and Marcin Kwa. And Huff is off, and Katzberg is paying him back. Huff on the inside now holds the upper hand. 8 laps into the race here in Hungary. Slippery conditions and carnage from start to finish. Every single inch of tarmac, Richard Coleman, being fiercely disputed in really greasy going.
Absolutely miserable couple of laps for Nicky Katzberg there, really struggling, just getting shunted out of position. Yeah, lives to fight another day. I still feel that Farfus has picked up some damage and his lap times aren't fantastic, and everybody keeps bunching up behind him. As we see in our shot now, Farfus at the front, I believe he's got a bit of damage and he's holding everybody up now at this stage in the race. Fight for 5th place.
Yeah, Farfus a long way behind 4th. He's 6 seconds behind 4th, still hanging on though. You can see that right rear actually turning right there when car's going left. Ivan Muller in 6th position has moved up strongly, courtesy of a lot of other drivers in front arguing with each other. Now he gets a run on the inside of Augusto Farfus. That's a done deal. Muller is not going to give Farfus an inch more than he needs to.
But don't forget, Martin, the Lincoln Co doesn't have great straight line speed, so it'll be a drag race down to turn 1.
Aurelian Panis and Norbert Mikulic, the pole man for the final race. And Guerrieri goes by both of them. Mikulic is off. Guerrieri outbrakes himself a long way out there on the dirt. Can he come back on? Comes back on alongside Ivan Muller. That's not going to go down well with a Frenchman.
He's got the inside line though.
Oh, he has to keep the car in place. He's got to keep it alive. Guerrieri will start 2nd in race 3, the final encounter here. If Muller tags him into a spin because he puts himself in a vulnerable position, Mikulic is in the pits. Engine temperature soaring on Norby's car, which was like a pinball in the opening laps. Now Huff and Farfus are both going to lose out to Attila Tashi behind in the Honda, or the young Hungarian's going to lose out to them as they come to grief. There's Rob's family, his mum and his dad and friends are there. Huff again with Farfus. Tashi looking on the inside of Farfus. He moves up 1. Bits of car flying everywhere.
You wouldn't want to be that tyre stack this afternoon, that's for sure. Every time I see that camera angle, I think it's about to go. But yeah, no, some fantastic racing, and I think the Hyundai's really struggling at this part of the race, being banged around quite a lot. Farfus clearly got damage early on in the race, but big worry for Mikulic with those engine temperatures, because of course he starts race 3 from pole position. Exactly right.
Gabriele Tarquini looking at Ivan Muller. This is the battle for 5th place. 6th place, isn't it now, because Guerrieri's in 5th. He got by both of them as they argued with each other. In Ivan with a big old slide in the Lincoln Co. Tarquini didn't have enough grip to get his nose inside. Off goes Leutner and Coronel. And that was Leutner and Coronel. I don't know where they were. They were 12th and 14th at the beginning of the lap, so somewhere in the early teens.
Gabriele might get a look here. He's got a toe. The Lincoln Co not particularly fantastic in a straight line. Tarquini moving to the inside, but not quite close enough to get a run on him.
What we haven't mentioned in a few minutes is that Nesta Girolami leads the race. He took the lead away from poleman Jean-Carl Vernet on the run down to turn 1. Vernet, though, now only half a second back and closing. And then the 2 PWR Cupras, Daniel Hegloff and Mikel Ascona, are 3rd and 4th. Then there's 7 seconds back to Guerrieri in 5th, and then everything else is happening in 6th and below.
And Girolami lost half of his lead on that lap, now down to 5.5 tenths over Jean-Carl Vernet, so I think there's some life in that race yet as well.
Yeah. Oh, Rob Huff rides the curbs. Attila Tashi on the inside, still there, still there, still there. And this is the 19-year-old Hungarian against the 2012 world champion. What was Tashi doing in 2012? GCSEs, probably. And Huff survives, hangs on. Calm down, says Mother Kate.
I think Huff might have to give that back. I think that could be a little bit dubious, to tell you the truth.
Well, Tashi was on the inside. Huff was, in these conditions, had no grip to spare. So
yeah, but Huff was maybe a bit naughty there because he turned in. There's nowhere for Tashi to go. So
yep.
I think
he
was a bit naughty. If I put it this way, if I was a team manager, I'd be blaring on the radio right now.
Yeah, Huff was looking to the penalty.
Tarquini slowed.
So he was in 6th or 7th and is no longer going to score points in this race.
He was battling with the van, so I wonder if they've had contact.
Well, there was enough contact early on, although most of Gabriel's contact was on the left front, not the right front. Black and white flag for Attila Tashi for driving standards. Oh, really? Which race are you watching? Here's the lead battle. Nesta Girolami and Jean-Carl Vernet. Nose to tail. It was 4/10 at the line. That's not 4/10. That's more like 400ths of a second. Daniel Hegloff and Mikael Ascona. Hegloff the Swede, Ascona the Spaniard for PWR in the 2 Grey Cupras. And if this all goes to pieces, PWR could end up with a 1-2 down the inside. Nils Langeveld on Gordon Shedden. Audi versus Audi. Fraternal battle, and right behind, through comes Marcin Kwa, and behind him Tom Coronel. 3 wide, Flash on the inside, Mar in the middle. It's Panis, and Shedden across the nose of Mar is the one who loses out. That was the battle for I don't know where, but it was in the points. And Gordon Shedden out of, well, he was 11th at the line, ahead of Langeveld and Mar.
Yeah, disappointing for Gordon. He needs all the points he can get. Not having a fantastic season so far. Outgunned comprehensively by this man, who's hunting leader.
Nesta Girolami leads lap 11 of 12 at a drizzly Hungaro-ring. Not wet enough to be wet. Everybody on slicks at the start. It's got a little more drizzly. Jean-Carl Vernet, the pole man here in this second of 3 races this weekend, is in second place. The gap came right down to not even a car length at the end of the lap, but Girolami and the Honda, it is very quick here this weekend. So too are the Cupras, but they are struggling in this race. Panis ahead of Coronel, the 2 yellow cars, with Nils Langeveld now up to 12th position.
Given Girolami the hurry up there as well, he'd just set an exceptional Sector 2, just pulled out 3/10 on Vernet.
Wow.
So I wonder if he's just perhaps cruising a little bit too much in the final stages of this race.
There is Gabriele Tarquini in the pits, broken right suspension as well as a puncture. Nesta Girolami leads onto the last lap from Jean-Carl Vernet. Daniel Hegloff in 3rd, Mikael Ascona in 4th. Ascona a podium finisher in the final race in Marrakesh. Right now, teammate Hegloff, who was unlucky to have retirement in race 1 in Marrakesh, that dropped him out of the points, and Langeveld with damage, and that undoubtedly from earlier contact.
Of course, he's desperately trying to get that back to the pits to give his mechanics the best chance of having that car repaired in time for race 3. If he stops out on the circuit, the chances are he won't be starting race 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, he won't be starting high up the grid, but as you've seen in these conditions, it may be no different for race 3. All bets are off here. Coronel versus Vervish, and this is for the 14th, I think. Fred Vervish went off a long way earlier, then served a drive-through penalty, and there's now fighting his way back up the order. So Augusto Farfus and Nicky Katzberg's Blue Hyundai's 9th and 10th. Coronel defending with what he's got. He's got damage on the front. Damage on lap 1 as well. Broke the damper on Gordon Shedden's car. Shedden is back in the pit lane as well after being tagged into a spin. Out of the points, so give the team what they can get. PWR Racing, the rookie team. Where's Vernet gone? That's Nesta Girolami. Has he gone past?
No, he's still in second, Martin. He's dropped right back.
Right, there he is. Okay, but hang on a minute. That's Daniel Hegloff right behind him. So here is Nesta Girolami, final lap for the Honda, but all the drama is on second place. Jean-Carl Vernet being caught hand over fist by Daniel Hegloff as they run to the line. It is going to be a second win of the weekend for Nesta Girolami. Run 1 in race 1, 1-1 in race 2 at the line. Vernet in second, fastest race lap for Daniel Hegloff in the Cupra to come 3rd, his first podium, and teammate Mikael Ascona in 4th. Esteban Guerrieri 5th, ahead of Muller, Huff and Tashi. Farfus and Katzberg, Mar, Leutner, and then this battle, Coronel behind teammate Panis, and Fredrik Vervish, the final points. Yeah, and you need to be really. It was pretty tough in the first couple of laps.
Well, 3rd and 4th for PWR is a fantastic result, and perhaps you think that being a Scandinavian